Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today we're diving deep into history to explore 25 incredible inventions and discoveries that literally revolutionized the world. From the seemingly simple water wheel that kick-started it all, to the mind-blowing world of artificial intelligence, we're going to cover the game changers that transformed how we live, work, communicate, and interact with the world around us. So buckle up and get ready for an amazing tour of 25 industrial facts that will have you saying, wow, I never knew that. The water wheel, 1st century BC. Back in ancient times, people came up with a clever device called a water wheel. It was like a big wheel placed in a river or stream. When the water flowed, it turned the wheel. This turning motion could be used to do many things, like grinding grains to make flour, pumping water from wells or rivers to fields, and even powering other machines. Think of it like using the force of the river to do work for them. This invention was really important because it laid down the groundwork for later inventions like water mills and factories that used water power to do lots of work. The blast furnace, 11th century AD. Jumping forward to the 11th century, people developed something called a blast furnace. This was a special kind of furnace that could make iron and steel much better than before. It worked by heating up a mix of iron ore, charcoal, which is like a type of burned wood, and limestone, a type of rock, until they melted together. This process produced higher quality iron and steel at really hot temperatures. This was a big deal because it meant people could make stronger tools, better weapons like swords and armor, and even sturdier buildings. The printing press, 1440. Fast forward to the year 1440, when Johannes Gutenberg came up with an amazing invention called the printing press. Before this, books and written materials were made by hand, which took a lot of time and effort. But with the printing press, Gutenberg found a way to make lots of copies of books and papers much faster. He did this by arranging letters and words on metal blocks, covering them with ink and pressing them onto paper. This made it possible to produce books and papers in large quantities. It was a huge leap forward for communication because it meant more people could access knowledge and ideas through books and printed materials. The steam engine, 1712. In the 18th century, a major breakthrough came with the invention of the steam engine in 1712. It was created by a man named Thomas Newcomen. The steam engine was like a big kettle that boiled water to make steam. This steam was then used to power a machine like a pump or a wheel. It completely changed how things were made and moved. Factories could now run machines using steam power instead of relying on human or animal power. Steam engines also powered trains and ships, making transportation much faster and easier. This invention kick-started the Industrial Revolution, which transformed society by introducing mechanized production and transportation. The power loom, 1784. Finally, in the late 18th century, another important invention came along called the power loom. It was created by a man named Edmund Cartwright in 1784. Before the power loom, weaving cloth was done by hand, which was slow and laborious work. But the power loom changed all that. It was a machine that could weave cloth automatically using mechanical power. This meant cloth could be produced much faster and in larger quantities than ever before. It revolutionized the textile industry and paved the way for mass production of clothing and textiles. Thanks to the power loom, clothes became more affordable and available to more people, marking a significant shift in the way textiles were manufactured. The cotton gin, 1793. Eli Whitney made a machine called the cotton gin. It helped the cotton industry a lot. Before, separating cotton fibers from seeds took a long time and was hard work. But the cotton gin did it much faster. This made people want more cotton, which affected economies. However, it also brought up issues about using slaves to work in the cotton fields. The interchangeable parts system, 1800. Eli Whitney also came up with the idea of interchangeable parts. This meant making parts that could fit in different machines all the same. Before this, each part had to be made specially for each machine. With interchangeable parts, machines could be made faster and cheaper. It changed how things were made and started the idea of making things on assembly lines. The steamship, 1807. Around 1807, people invented the steamship. It was a boat powered by steam, making it go faster and more reliably than boats with sails. This was a big deal for trade because it made traveling across water much quicker. Trade routes changed and more goods could be moved between countries, connecting the world in new ways. The Bessemer process, 1856. In 1856, a process called the Bessemer process was invented. It helped make steel production faster and cheaper. Steel was important for building things like buildings, railways, and machines. With the Bessemer process, more steel could be made, which made it easier to build big projects and create new industries. The telegraph, 1844. Samuel Morse made the telegraph in 1844. It was a way to send messages over long distances quickly. Before this, sending messages took a long time, especially over long distances. But with the telegraph, messages could be sent almost instantly. This was a big deal for business because it meant information could be shared quickly, helping businesses make decisions faster. It also changed how news was spread, making it easier for people to know what was happening around the world. The telephone, 1876. Alexander Graham Bell made something called the telephone. It let people talk to each other using their voices, even if they were far apart. Before this, people couldn't talk to each other unless they were close together. But with the telephone, they could have real-time conversations over long distances. This changed how people communicated and made it easier for businesses to talk with each other. It also helped people stay connected with friends and family who were far away. The incandescent light bulb, 1879. Thomas Edison created the light bulb. This was a special kind of bulb that gave off light when electricity passed through it. Before, people relied on sunlight or candles for light, which wasn't always practical. But with the light bulb, they could have light whenever they needed it, even at night. This changed how people worked and socialized because it extended the hours of the day. People could now work or do activities after the sun went down, making their lives more productive and convenient. The internal combustion engine, 1885. In 1885, someone invented the internal combustion engine. This engine was used to power things like cars and airplanes. It worked by burning fuel inside it to create power. This invention completely changed transportation because it made cars and airplanes possible. People could now travel faster and farther than ever before. It also affected things like warfare and trade because it made moving goods and people much easier. The assembly line, early 20th century. Henry Ford came up with something called the assembly line. This was a way of making things like cars quickly and efficiently. Instead of one person building a whole car by themselves, each person on the assembly line had a specific job to do. This made production much faster and cheaper. Cars and other goods became more affordable and available to lots of people. It changed how things were made and started the idea of mass production. The Haber-Bosch process, 1908. In 1908, someone invented the Haber-Bosch process. This process helped make something called synthetic nitrogen fertilizer. This fertilizer was really important for agriculture because it helped crops grow better and faster. Before this, farmers relied on natural fertilizers like manure, which wasn't always enough. But with synthetic nitrogen fertilizer, they could grow more food on the same amount of land. This changed agriculture by increasing crop yields and making food more available to people. The penicillin discovery, 1928. Alexander Fleming found something really important called penicillin. It was like a magic medicine that could kill harmful bacteria. This was a big deal because before penicillin, people didn't have a good way to fight bacterial infections. But with penicillin, doctors could treat infections and save many lives. It changed medicine forever and helped a lot of people stay healthy. The transistor, 1947. In 1947, someone made a tiny device called a transistor. It was much smaller, cheaper, and better than the old vacuum tubes used in electronics. This was a big deal because it made electronics smaller and more efficient. Think of it like making radios and other gadgets much smaller and easier to use. Transistors were really important for making things like radios, computers, and lots of other devices we use today. The integrated circuit, 1958. Around 1958, someone invented something called an integrated circuit, also known as a microchip. It was like a tiny circuit board with lots of electronic parts on it. This made it possible to put many electronic parts together in a small space. It changed electronics because it allowed for making things smaller and cheaper. Thanks to integrated circuits, we have computers and other electronic devices that are small but powerful. The personal computer, 1970s. In the 1970s, personal computers started becoming popular. These were computers that people could have at home or at work. They were like small, affordable versions of the big computers used in businesses and universities. Personal computers changed how people worked, communicated, and had fun. They made it easier for people to do things like writing, calculating, and playing games at home. The Internet, 1960s present. Since the 1960s, people have been working on something called the Internet. It's like a big network of computers all connected together. The Internet changed how people communicate and get information. It made it easy to send messages, share pictures, and find answers to questions. The Internet also changed business, education, and social interactions. It connects people from all over the world, making the world feel smaller and more connected. The World Wide Web, 1989. Tim Berners-Lee made something called the World Wide Web. It made the Internet easier for everyone to use. Before, the Internet was mainly for experts, but the World Wide Web made it simple for anyone to find information and use online services. This changed how people got information and did things online. It started the information age where people could easily access lots of information online. The smartphone, late 1990s present. Around the late 1990s, smartphones started becoming popular. These are like super smartphones that can do a lot of things. They let you call and message people, but they can also play games, take pictures, and access the Internet. Smartphones changed how people communicate and entertain themselves because they combine all these features into one device. Now people can do almost everything on their phones, making them an essential part of everyday life. Social media, late 1990s present. Social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram have changed how people interact and communicate online. They let you connect with friends, share pictures and videos, and stay updated on news and events. Social media has revolutionized how people communicate and share things with each other. It's created new ways for people to connect and stay in touch, no matter where they are in the world. Renewable energy technologies, present. Nowadays, people are coming up with new ways to make energy that doesn't harm the environment. These are called renewable energy technologies like solar panels, wind turbines, and geothermal energy. They use natural resources like sunlight, wind, and heat from the earth to make electricity. This helps protect the environment and reduces our need for fossil fuels like coal and oil, which can harm the planet. Renewable energy technologies are giving us a cleaner and more sustainable way to power our world. Artificial intelligence, present. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is getting better and better at doing things that normally need human intelligence. It's used in lots of things, from self-driving cars to virtual assistants like Siri and Alexa. AI has the potential to change how we do things in many fields, like healthcare, transportation, and customer service. It's still developing, but it could change the way we live and work in big ways in the future.